Well, gentlemen of press, it is important that I put records right. The topic before the red chambers is on the issue of the budget, and we have all come to understand that our income, in terms of revenue, cannot carry the budget that we tend to have for the year, and that will entail us borrowing. And one of the reasons adduced, accepted by all of us, is the understanding that we have only one source of income, which is called the oil. And oil definitely is stagnant, it's not increasing. But our problems and challenges in Nigeria is increasing in a geometrical progression. So the income from oil alone cannot meet up with the budget. And so this is what entails our borrowing, and also why sometimes we run deficit in our budgets and all that. So while we are trying to diversify, which has been a common slogan, diversification of the economy and to meet up, I was of the opinion that we should cut down on cost of governance in whatever angle we can take it. And that calls for sacrifice by all in addition to that. One of the things I've suggested, I feel, and seriously, I feel that the National Assembly is unwieldy. We have sometimes 10 federal House members, 3 senators from one state. And I wondered whether we couldn't change the whole senators to statorial, and why the federal House would come the senatorial. So 3 federal House members per state, and 1 senator per state. 4 persons can represent this state to discuss issues of this. That will cut down on a lot of cost of governance, if you like, and we can look at other areas that we can cut down on cost of governance to enable us meet up and put food on the table of the common man. Also, I'm of the opinion that we must fund the productive sector of our economy and technology, because if we keep working on recurrency without developing the capital sector of our economy, we're going to run into serious problems. That's why I asked the question. I said, what has made the difference between the previous Senate and the 9th Senate? And if we keep doing the same budget, the same old way, we'll keep getting the same old results. So we must have a drastic and radical change from the normal way of doing things. And bearing in mind that we're faced up with issues of security challenges, where issues of poverty, hunger is in the land. Children are out of school, people are not going to school and all that. We need to save money, make sacrifice where possible, to ensure that we help the downtrodden in the society. The essence of government is to help the poor and the less privileged, and the needy and the masses, put them like that. So this is what I've said. But this requires a constitutional amendment. It's not just, but it's such a difficult one that you need the consent of your colleagues, because a 3 cannot make a 4. So I simply troubleshooted this today to see the reaction, if it is welcome, so we can push a further bill on this. Rather than engaging all of us in politics, some people can be engaged in the productive sector of the economy, really, and to do something. But I'm of opinion that if you have a governor and you have a senator and have 3 federal House reps, at least those decisions can be reached, really, quite frankly. And we can think of other ways. Another point I mentioned there, which I didn't conclude, was the issue of agriculture. Some of the federal ministries that we have, which I felt that is uncalled for. For instance, Federal Minister of Agriculture. When you say agriculture, agriculture goes with land. And I don't know where the federal government has land to start agricultural practices. What we should have is advice on agriculture, policy making. So we can take agriculture to the grassroots, the local government. Could you imagine that if local governments in Nigeria are given the only singular power to deal with agriculture? Did you know how far we have done with agriculture? We have done well, because I'm trying to avoid the future crisis and catastrophes likely to happen if not address those issues. So issues of this Minister of Agriculture and so many other ministries their affairs can be handled at local government and state level should be removed from the weight of government. That calls for what is called systematic devolution of power in the face of the little resources we have to face our numerous challenges as a nation. We have. You people don't understand. The problem we have is that, listen, you have small amount of money and you have big problem. what do? You cut your coat according to material available, not according to your size. Rochas Okorocha, you can see my size. I'm a bit big and the big size side of it. So what if I can only afford 1 yard? Must I wait until I get 10 yards? I can make 1 yard and change it to a monkey jacket. You cover some part at least. This is the wisdom. And we're also saying in the Senate, we must begin to make laws and bills that support the executive at every particular time. Because the executive is dependent on whatever we give them. The power is here. The power is not in the executive. The power is not in judiciary. The power is in legislature. Because legislature is the pivot upon which the wheels of every arm must rotate. It's what we give to executive that they will do. If we give them money, they will spend. If we give them budget, they will spend. The same applicable to judiciary. So legislature has a lot of powers in it that we need to do. So we're saying that, listen, this budget this year be the one that we can cut our coat according to material, not according to our size. Nigerians forget that only the Department of Fire Service in New York is almost the budget of the whole Federal Republic of Nigeria. So why do we behave as if we are that too much of a wealthy country when we have not diversified our economy and have made out other sources of income from other than the one of oil? For as long as oil remains the mainstay of our economy, then we must also think about cutting our budget within that which the oil can provide for. That is the argument we are making this. That's what I mean by cutting our code according to ourselves and making the sacrifice in many areas. Federal government needs to make sacrifice, legislature, this, so we can stop all this insecurity, job creation, and all this problem we have. It takes a nation to make sacrifice for generations yet unborn. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take one of the bunch.
There must be some constitutional amendment that will meet up with our current challenges, because what we have is not really helping us, and we're recycling ourselves in the same old way and getting the same old result. That's the point I'm making.
My name is Edwin.
Edwin, yes.
Mine is.
Well, I speak out of experience, having been a governor of a state, and unfortunately, if I advance some of my style, it might become too alien, and it might not be sellable, because the way I govern Imo State is quite different from the normal way of conventional way of governance. And this is some of the things that have been misunderstood about my government, and people don't understand. But at least it gave me results. They saw me produce 6 universities, 30 general hospitals, over 2,000 kilometers of roads, free education. It wasn't there before. But if you keep doing the same system, you keep getting the same old result. Take for instance, and I just want to say this: if our Procurement Act is not amended and our due process system is not amended, what we have today is that issues of capital projects take a longer time to achieve, but issues of recurrency, workshop, travel allowance takes just few seconds and to get approval. But issues of capital projects can take a whole year and not concluded. So we need to change the entire style based on the ugly situation which our condition points out to us. We need to change completely. But that's a radical deviation from the normal, and most people will resist to change, actually. So if you ask me about my experience of that, it's quite a different method. But that's exactly what I'm trying to say that we should do here. For instance, as the governor, I forfeited the security vote. But nobody could believe it. If I did forfeit security vote, I couldn't have free education in Imo State from primary, secondary to university. It's not that done possible. And this is why at this point we cannot just keep blaming the executive, keep blaming the judiciary or blaming ourselves. If each one blaming each other, let's make a change. Even if it's a mistake, let's change from the conventional and do something new and see whether we can get a result. And what I realize again is our major problem is that about our culture, about our system of governance is not in tandem with our culture. And the best form of government is that which allows you to govern yourself. We are trying to govern the people, and it's not possible to govern the people. Allow the people to govern themselves. I'll give you an example. This issue of insecurity today, the issue of security. Insecurity has become a national anthem now in Nigeria. 2 killed today, yesterday 30, day before 50, 20, 15. Headlines, killing. Every day we'll talk about the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staff, and all that. But these are single individuals and organizations. What are we doing ourselves? Take, for instance, I'm a senator with my two federal house members from my four federal house members in my senatorial zone, and we agreed to go back, for instance. And we said, listen, we want to even organize the youth to tackle crime with little resources. You get results. But we feel that once it's executive have to do everything. And that's the problem we have. And this is why our culture is different. You know, in Nigeria, in Africa, let me say Africa, even as you are here now, I'm sure before you know it, this your press call would be divided into where you come from. I'm sure when you want to elect now, you just say, he's from the north, he's from the south. When you go to the south again, oh, he's from Yoruba, he's Igbo. When you go to Igbo land, he's from this state. You go to the state, oh no, he's from this senatorial zone. When you go to senatorial zone, he's from this local government. From local government, he's from this ward. From ward, he's from this family. Even within the same family, it's not the same father, same mother. So that's our culture, you know. So we are stronger. We're stronger at the family level than we are strong at the local government and state level. So any government that can work in Nigeria is a government that addresses the issue of community. That's why I came up with community government. If you allow every community today and give them the child responsibility with ordinary 500,000 naira and say, make sure no criminal comes to our village, nobody will come. We don't need the work of police to help us in our community. But today, even if there's armed robber, communities will not talk until Inspector General of Police sends DIG sends AIG now talk to CP talk to DPO before you talk to sergeant on ground. The criminal has run away. You did not solve that problem. So it's a practical thing I want to introduce, but it's a bit of radical deviation from the usual thing, and most time people will misunderstand you. I'm not even asking for a single camera or single house. No, I'm asking that House of Rep should exist, House of Senate should exist. Is that clear? But let the number be put down. Excuse me. What would 12, 15 federal house members from a state do that 3 from that state cannot represent? I feel too big to represent only Oduzon. I feel I've come here to represent Nigeria. I've come here to represent Igbos. I've come here to represent Yorubas, everybody, and then represent my community. So once we know that we are senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, then they fear the number. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I speak out of experience, having been a governor of a state. And unfortunately, if I advance some of my style, it might become too alien, and it might not be sellable. Because the way I govern Imo State is quite different from the normal way of conventional way of governance. And this is some of the things that have been misunderstood about my government, and people don't understand. But at least it gave me results. They saw me produce 6 universities, 30 general hospitals, over 2,000 kilometers of roads, free education. It wasn't there before. But if you keep doing the same system, you keep getting the same old result. Take for instance, and I just want to say this: if our Procurement Act is not amended and our due process system is not amended, what we have today is that issues of capital projects take a longer time to achieve, but issues of recurrency, workshop, travel allowance takes just few seconds and to get approval. But issues of capital projects can take a whole year and not concluded. So we need to change the entire style based on the ugly situation which our condition points out to us. We need to change completely. But that is a radical deviation from the normal, and most people will resist to change, actually. So if you ask me about my experience of that, it's quite a different method. But that's exactly what I'm trying to say that we should do here. For instance, as a governor, I forfeited the security vote. But nobody could believe it. If I did forfeit security vote, I couldn't have free education in Imo State from primary, secondary to university. It's never done possible. And this is why at this point we cannot just keep blaming the executive, keep blaming the judiciary or blaming ourselves. Each one blaming each other. Let's make a change. Even if it's a mistake, let's change from the conventional and do something new and see whether we can get a result. And what I realize again is our major problem is that about our culture, about our system of governance is not in tandem with our culture. And the best form of government is that which allows you to govern yourself. We are trying to govern the people, and it's not possible to govern the people. Allow the people to govern themselves. I'll give you an example. This issue of insecurity today, the issue of security. Insecurity has become a national anthem now in Nigeria. 2 killed today, yesterday 30, day before 50, 20, 15. Headlines, killing. Every day we'll talk about, it's Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staff, and all that. But these are single individuals and organizations. What are we doing ourselves? Take, for instance, I'm a senator with my 2 federal house members from my 4 federal house members in my senatorial zone, and we agreed to go back, for instance. And we said, listen, we want to even organize the youth to tackle crime with little resources. You get results. But we feel that once it's executive have to do everything. And that's the problem we have. And this is why our culture is different. You know, in Nigeria, in Africa, let me say Africa, even as you are here now, I'm sure before you know it, this your press call would be added into where you come from. I'm sure when you want to elect now, you just say, he's from the north, he's from the south. When you go to the south again, oh, he's from Yoruba, he's Igbo. When you go to Igbo land, he's from this state. You go to the state, oh no, he's from this senatorial zone. When you go to senatorial zone, he's from this local government. From local government, he's from this ward. From ward, he's from this family. Even within the same family, it's not the same father, same mother. So that's our culture, you know. So we are stronger at the family level than we are strong at the local government and state level. So any government that can work in Nigeria is a government that addresses the issue of community. That's why I came up with community government. If you allow every community today and give them the child responsibility with ordinary 500,000 naira and say, make sure no criminal comes to your village, nobody will come. We don't need the work of police to help us in our community. But today, even if there's armed robber, communities will not talk until Inspector General of Police sends DIG sends AIG now talk to CP talk to DPO before he talk to the sergeant on ground. The criminal has run away. Did you understand our problem? Yeah. So it's a practical thing I want to introduce. But it's a bit of radical deviation from the usual thing. And most times people will misunderstand you. So I'm not even asking for a single camera or single house. No, I'm asking that House of Rep should exist, House of Senate should exist. Is that clear? But let the number be put down. Excuse me. What would 12, 15 federal house members from a state do that 3 from that state cannot represent? I feel too big to represent only Oluzon. I feel I've come here to represent Nigeria. I've come here to represent Igbos. I've come here to represent Yorubas, everybody, and then represent my community. So once we know that we are senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, then they fear the number. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.